After doing all that lovely hip work that we've been focusing on for the last few technique videos, you're probably going to want to do a bit of a stretch through that region. In fact, I recommend you always do some pretzel stretches after you've done some hip work. And let's just go through the basic ones to start with, and then I'll talk you through a few other hip stretches, which you may or may not have remembered. So, first of all, I'm lying with my ankle basically on the knee. I don't tend to do this with the foot on the knee, and I don't tend to pull on the side of the foot because I don't want to be stretching out through these ligaments of my ankle. So I'm usually in this position here, that way the foot's just nice and relaxed, and I'll draw this knee, this ankle up towards my chest as I push this knee away from my chest. Never forcing any stretches. The more specific a stretch, the slower you want to go into it, and the slower you want to come out of it. Each time you breathe out, just try to sink that little bit deeper into the stretch as those muscles let go that little bit more. This is predominantly for your gluteal muscles, those three muscles at the side of your hip. When we draw that knee across towards the opposite shoulder, and I'll show you this from a different angle again, then you're going to get more into the deep lateral rotators. Again, you're still drawing this knee and ankle up, but now you're drawing across the body. And it's almost like the thigh bone, it's traveling in the direction that it's pointing, and in this case, it's pointing up towards my wall. Lifting this hip off the floor. Now that's going to get into my deep lateral rotators. Now, I'm going to do that on the other side, and I recommend you do as well. But I will talk you through several other hip stretches. There are literally hundreds of different hip stretches you can do, and you might well have a favorite already, and if it works for you, use it. I'm going to draw this across. So these are my bread and butter ones. These are the two key ones I'll just go back to over and over again. They're the most common ones I'll use for myself as well. Some other stretches that are really good. Let's start off with the gluteals. When you do your spinal rotations, I'll just move a little bit closer to the camera so as I can have a bit of space here, where I drop both knees to the left and I roll my head to the right, I can pick up, in this case, the left foot, the one closest to the floor, and place it on top of the knee, and then I can just let that sink down. I can add the weight of the arm as well. I don't tend to push down with this hand. And as I've mentioned on previous videos, you'll not only feel that stretch through these gluteal muscles, you'll also feel it through the side of the waist and the lower back area. It's a quite specific stretch, and if you were to try to come out of this just using the legs, these are the muscles that are going to have to pull you back out. So I don't want you to do that. I want you to use your hand to lift the legs back out of that position. And I'll swap sides, going more towards the camera this time with my legs. I'm going to roll my head the other way as I normally would. Again, I've rolled my knees to the right, I'll pick the right foot up and place that right ankle on top of the other leg and maybe add the weight of the right arm as well. Each time I breathe out, just feeling myself sink into the stretch deeper. I generally hold it here for several deep in and out breaths at least. So no less than 20 seconds. So usually I'd be looking at somewhere between the 30 to 40 second range for most of these. I'm going to use this hand to help, again, pull me out of that position. That is another great one for your gluteals. Another one for your gluteals, similar, is I'd have one leg straight on the floor and I would roll this leg across my body. Now, you probably can't tell, this foot is on the floor, but the knee isn't. I could roll it to the knees as well if I wanted to. I find it doesn't really change the stretch a great deal for me. It's through this region where my hand is, and I'll get a better stretch, and this is just a personal thing with me, if that thigh is a little bit less than 90 degrees. Oh, that's much better. I get a much better stretch through exactly where I'm rubbing the heel of my palm right now. Whereas at that 90-degree angle here, I'm not really feeling it as much. So play around with it, because you might find at different angles, you go, oh yeah, that's a great stretch. So this is again, another nice one for the gluteals. Another nice one, I'm not going to do this on the other side, but another nice one for your deep lateral rotators. And after we did pure clams, you would have probably done this one where you drop the knee in and you peel this hip off the floor and
you probably can't tell what my foot position's doing now, so I will change the angle again. But after I've held it here and I've gone, yeah, that's a nice stretch, I might then change that foot and knee position around. I might bring the leg more towards the midline of the body. I might take it out a bit wider, more lateral. And at some angles, you'll feel the stretch more through your quads. Others, you'll feel it through those deep lateral rotators. So if I'm a little bit more oblique to the camera, now this leg is staying pretty still at the moment, but I'm dropping this one inwards, peeling this hip off the floor, and again, I can change that foot and knee position around. Do be aware that some of these stretches you're not going to like. Some people will do this one and go, I don't like what I can feel. I can feel a little bit of a stretch on the inside of the knee. And if it's uncomfortable, don't do it. It's a really good rule of thumb. Listen to your body, never move into pain with any of the movements or exercises or stretches. I will do this on the other side. Sometimes you'll also find one stretch is really, really good on one side of the body and it's not particularly useful on the other. And there could be a lot of reasons for that. It doesn't really matter what the reason is. Just find a stretch that works for you. Another stretch that most people won't choose to do because it looks too hard, it's a bit like the Sphinx or the leg pull prone, which we're going to be doing on the next video, is one where you're basically in that Sphinx position. But unlike the Sphinx, we're going to have the feet off the floor. Now in this position here, yeah, I'm getting a bit of an ab and a shoulder workout. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my knees a little bit closer together than they normally would be, and then drop the feet out to the side. This is again for the deep lateral rotator muscles. Now sure, I'm getting a tough workout. I can lift up a little bit more if I want and have straighter arms and keep the elbow soft, of course, and I'm keeping that nice alignment of my spine, but I don't have to work hard through my abs and my shoulders here. I could be doing this. I'm going to have to turn around and give you a slightly different view. Just leaning against I could actually have my chest resting against the couch if I wanted to, and bring my knees a little bit closer together and drop those out to the side. I personally find I get a better stretch through these muscles with the legs quite close to the floor, like I'm demonstrating now. So it doesn't have to be a hard workout through your abs or through your shoulders. I personally like to do it in this position because I'm getting a bonus workout through that region whilst I'm getting a nice stretch through my legs. Again, I'll just show you the angle just that little bit differently. And I'm just dropping the knees out to the side, maybe have the legs a bit straighter. Oh, and that's great, especially through my left hip. Drawing my belly button in strongly as I would when I'm normally doing the Sphinx. Another stretch that's quite tough through the hips, do not do this one if you've ever had a hip replacement, is sort of this hurdle stretch. So it's going to be a little bit awkward for you to see. I've got this leg like so, and then I slide the other leg backwards. And I can change the angle. I don't have to slide directly back towards the couch. I can go more towards my chair. And then I push the back hip forwards towards the camera in this case. And I'm feeling the stretch through my right hip. I'm going to do this from several different angles for you. I'll show you side on. Leg like so, sliding back, pushing the back hip forward and feeling it through the nether regions. Again, if it's uncomfortable through your knees, don't do it. And as I mentioned, don't do this if you've had a hip replacement. I'm going to swap sides so you can see from the same angle, the opposite leg. It's quite nice to do this wearing socks when you're sliding on the carpet. You just slide back so much easier. And as I said, I've got this particular angle at the moment, but what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to come forward again and just change the angle. I'll go back a little bit more towards my chair. And again, I'll square this hip up, try to bring it forward. And that's quite a strong stretch. I'm not feeling any discomfort through my knee at all. And that's probably because I have this ankle here rather than sort of a little bit further forward, which you can certainly do as well. So there you go. There's a little sequence. You don't have to do all of them, but there's several different stretches through that hip region. We've just done a fair few hip videos pretty much in a row, and all of these stretches are fantastic after you've done your hip work.